This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
He calls China the only natural ally and soulmate. He says that the BRI is an economic tool rather than an instrument of power. He praises the Chinese approach to modernization, saying China came late, but caught up fast. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwar-ul-Haq Kakar of Pakistan sat down in an exclusive interview with Leaders Talk. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm Guan in Beijing. Our guest today leads a nation that is among the first to recognize the People's Republic of China 70 years ago. It is among the first countries to join the Belt and Road Initiative. And it is a country that has been described by China as all-weather strategic cooperative partner. Meet Anwar-ul-Haq Kakar, the caretaker Prime Minister of Pakistan. He was here in Beijing for the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. We caught up with him on the sidelines of his meetings. Prime Minister Kakar, welcome to Beijing, China.
Thank you.
We understand that you had formal meetings as well as informal tours around this city a little bit out of your busy schedule. How did China impress you?
My initial impressions of China, to be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised, and I would even say and go to an extent that I was almost mesmerized. The kind of affluence, the kind of development which I see in terms of infrastructure, related be it to roads or building infrastructure, it's pretty much impressive.
You read about China, and now you're in this country. Anything that is like, wow, it's different from what I read, what I assumed, and what confirms what you already know about this country?
I think so. I know little and I know less. China has more to offer. China appears, its mysteries unfolds as much as you focus on China, you engage with China, you embrace China. China needs a holistic embracement in order to appreciate a bit of China. Despite embracement, I don't think so you can fully comprehend the potential and the merit of China. I feel that we as a nation or as a country are still underinvested in China. China has got much more to offer.
You talk about the fact that tailoring one's own conditions and finding one's own solution and approaches are of ultimate importance. How would you rate the Chinese approach towards modernization, 40, 50 years on since this reform and opening up?
This is one of the most intriguing and most attractive model to me as an individual. I am in the journey of exploring and finding for myself. I still feel that I know very little, no matter how much I try hard. This transformation towards modernization seems to be unique and unprecedented. I hardly see a parallel in human history where the societies have taken such a leap jump and they have started late and finished quick. This paradox of starting late and ending quick is only Chinese.
Excellency Prime Minister Kakar, you were at the opening ceremony of the third ever BRI Forum for International Cooperation, where President Xi Jinping, of course, outlined this 8-point agenda for the BRI going forward, now that it is 1 decade old. What are your biggest takeaways from President Xi's offers?
I see a kind of self-confidence, and he's confident enough to offer this opportunity that there is a journey, there is a path to progress, cooperation, coordination, and he's asking the rest of the world to join hands with China and take this journey all along. And I anticipate and I expect that Pakistan would be a very important partner in this journey with this BRI's initiative. I think so. This is a historical moment for Pakistan. Today's speech at the opening ceremony, I feel it's a moment for Pakistan for the big push, which the economic historian would call. It has to be in every country's life, in every nation's life. Pakistan does need that big push to transform its social structure, its political structure, its state structure, and do that transformation from a 19th century model to a modern living lifestyle. How do we do that? That is the opportunity knocking right at our door. That grand idea of President Xi is asking us to come and grab that opportunity. And I think so we're going to do that.
The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a milestone in China-Pakistan relations and a development opportunity that Pakistan grasped 10 years ago. As an important pilot project of the Belt and Road Initiative, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has turned from a vision into a reality in the decades since its launch. Clean energy power plants have been completed and put into operation, and broad highways have been built to connect the northern and southern parts of the country. The Lahore Orange Line Metro has brought Pakistan into a new era of urban public transportation, and the mega ships docking at the Gwadar ports have propelled Pakistan towards the vast ocean of development opportunities. This has laid a solid foundation for Pakistan's infrastructure connectivity and industrialization, effectively promoting the sustainable economic and social development of Pakistan. Over the past decade, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has entered a new phase of high-quality development. It has broadened its cooperative ventures into fields such as agriculture, mineral exploration, science and technology, and IT. Both sides will jointly build a growth corridor, a livelihood-enhancing corridor, an innovation corridor, a green corridor, and an open corridor, thus making greater contributions to the peace and prosperity of both countries and the region at large.
If you think about CPAC, which is already 1 decade old, of course there were challenges, but parties involved have been working very aggressively to address those challenges and to accelerate the pace of CPAC. I mean, you served a public office for many years in your home province, Balochistan. What do you hope to achieve when it comes to changing the landscape, of course, the economies, the society of your home province, Balochistan?
Early harvest programs, which was the first phase of the CPAC, we have already realized that, be it in the development of the Gwadar port, the connectivity, the road connectivity, the airport connectivity. There are energy projects in Pakistan. We are an energy deficient country, and now we are in a position to produce and contribute almost 8,000 megawatt of electricity to our national grid system. Livelihood has got a very positive. They are bringing and realizing the fruits to a common man, particularly in the province of Balochistan and other areas of Pakistan. We are expecting and hoping that the transformation from first phase to second phase, which of course would be dependent on the transformation and diversification of industrialization, especially in our SEZs, we are quite sanguine and optimist that that phase would actually bring a deep impact on our livelihood, on our job creation, and further enhancing the infrastructure on our side.
Today at the BRI forum, we heard from Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General. We've heard from leaders from across the world in Latin America, Southeast Asia was represented, Africa was represented. What was the moment that you thought, wow, this is what BRI has really brought, the utility, the merits of the BRI that have made a real impact for people around the world?
I think so. I was looking, there were a plethora of nuances and many shades to the conversation around the idea of the BRI. But when I was focusing more on the geographical representation, like as you mentioned, American continent, European continent, Southeast Asia, African continent. So you do realize that that global connectivity, the connectivity between the oceans, the connectivity between the lands, the connectivity in aviation sector, in the air, that dream seems to be realizing itself. This is probably unprecedented in the documented human history. Mankind has never seen such level, such depth of physical connectivity with one another, which definitely does stimulate our civilizational connectivity, our cultural connectivity, which would diversify the human interaction more, not just diversification, but I think so that sense of inclusiveness of diversified background, be it religious, ethnic, racial, that would become a new normal. And that new normal would be a byproduct of BRI's physical connectivity.
Mr. Prime Minister, many consider BRI as epitomizing, encapsulating the Chinese approach, the Chinese mentality, the Chinese way of wanting the world to be like in the future. How would you compare the BRI in particular against existing or previous multilateral frameworks?
I think so the main difference over here to me seems that it is the economic tool rather than the tool of the force, which becomes an agent of change. And by that agent of change, I do not see a sort of a monologue cultural identity at a global scale or even at a regional scale. The best part about this Chinese model is that it is very deeply entrenched in its own sense of identity, in its own sense of culture, its own sense of history, but at the same time, it does discern and differentiate and appreciate the differences. And it does not hate differences, it values those differences.
We understand that you're meeting with the Chinese president, President Xi Jinping. What kind of leader do you think he is? And judging from his governance, the results in the past decade, and also his global initiatives.
I see warmth in President Xi's general demeanor. I see a wise man in him. I see a profound and the depth of ocean in him. And I see that we should seek more inspiration from his leadership. There is a lot there which can be learned, and I am keen to learn.
So this time around, you're not only visiting Beijing. I heard that you'll be visiting northwestern Chinese city of Urumqi in Xinjiang, Uyghur Autonomous Region. Why did you pick Xinjiang, and what are you going to do there?
Xinjiang is next door to Gilgit-Baltistan, the northern part of Pakistan. And I think so the land connectivity between China and Pakistan is through Urumqi. It is the actual Silk Road. If we want to revive the old Silk Road, it has to be through this landmark area. And that also offers us that we can develop a lot of tourism in that region, not just in that region, but through that connectivity to the rest of Pakistan.
Tell us about the tourist attractions of Pakistan. I know we're celebrating the year of tourism.
There are many. We have got mountains, we have got deserts, we have got all kinds of natural landscape attraction over there. Then we have got Buddhist archaeological sites, some many thousand years old, which is quite unique to that region.
Why is there such strategic consensus and political consensus in Pakistan when it comes to its approach towards China? Since our diplomatic relations many decades ago, there have been very frequent and consistent high-level exchanges, visits, such as yourself, this one to China. What's behind it? Why is there such strategic consistency from Pakistan to China?
I think so. All the legitimate interests as a state, which Pakistan translates it for itself, be it security, be it political, be it economic. In all these three domains, I feel China is the only natural ally where we have got convergence and of interest, along with a common approach where we have a sort of a unified outlook towards the global affairs. So that brings us strategically more closer. This is one of the reasons that across different political sections, state apparatus, at the societal level, I hardly hear or observe a dissenting voice when it comes to relationship with China.
Yeah, I was there. You know, when you read the newspaper, be it The Nation, Dawn, or turning on the TV, Geo television, whether it's in Urdu or in English or in other local languages. I mean, when I asked my interpreters, they would tell me pretty much the same has been said. With a very constructive, nuanced approach reporting about China-Pakistan relations.
Well, that's absolutely true. As I was trying to explain even earlier, that all the legitimate state interests, societal interests, if we can translate that, what are the actual challenges to the society of Pakistan in terms of security. The natural ally which comes to our mind, which has potential and which has will, is China. When it comes to our economic challenges, who could be a reliable partner? The answer is China. So that relationship has grown for more or less more than 5 decades. So that timeline, that consistency, that continuity has entrenched our approach, and probably not just our approach, it's an approach on either side of the border.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there. To see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London, China Global Television Network. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
I see a country on the move.
There's my opportunity.
Is it good to change so fast?
Yes, but it's a challenge.
We have one foot in the future.
But we never forget our past.
We need to talk to one another.
And listen.
More than 1 billion voices telling their stories. Rediscovering China, only on CGTN.
In May 1951, China and Pakistan officially established diplomatic relations. For over 70 years, China and Pakistan have stood by each other amidst the shifting and turbulent global landscape, forging a unique ironclad friendship. The friendship between China and Pakistan is deeply rooted in their peoples. The people of both countries have always been quick to extend a helping hand to each other in times of difficulty, sharing wail and woe while looking out for each other. In early 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, Pakistan donated its national stock of masks to China. After Pakistan suffered a devastating flood in 2022, China was the first to offer all-round relief, with aid coming from both the public and private sectors, and led the tally of assistance to Pakistan worldwide. The friendship between China and Pakistan has become a consensus among all their citizens.
And then what do you think is behind the people-to-people bonds between our two countries, which have been evidenced again and again by helping each other when one is in need? For example, this middle school girl in China last year, when your country unfortunately and tragically suffered the worst flooding in history, donated all her pocket money as a student. to your fellow countrymen. And the reason she said she did that was because when her hometown in Sichuan was hit by the massive earthquake in 2008, your country donated until the last reserve tent to China.
I mean, this sweet gesture, I'm aware of that small little lovely girl. You know, it's probably not just our help to this side or your help to our side. It is the cognitive activity, it is the soul, it is the opinion which dwells in the psyche, in the collective psyche of either Pakistani side or the Chinese side. Because a small little girl cannot translate such a subtle concept of getting help or giving help to another nation. But it is what they absorb, what they hear, what they feel, what they embrace from their environment. I think so that determines the response mechanism towards each other. And that's why I call it that we are more or less like soulmates.
Soulmates.
We are.
So behind all these political designations, such as all-weather strategic cooperative partnerships, if you look at, like you said, the collective psyche of the two peoples, they bond. I mean, I was in Pakistan. I cannot tell you how many times I used to joke to my Chinese friend whereby I was held hostage by your hospitality.
This is what exactly I'm trying to explain, that it is not the initiative of a few individuals. You cannot translate or link it to certain individuals that who have got an individual sense of hospitality towards you as an individual. It is the reflection of that collective psyche which is dwelling, which is residing more or less in the entire nation.
So going forward, what can be done to cultivate even stronger people-to-people relations and, like you said, to maybe improve even more on this collective goodwill, on bilateral psyches?
I think so. Cultural exchange programs in this regard, scholars, think tanks, more frequent interactions, tourism, a very important area. And along with that, media. Media is an important medium in this modern world. There is a lot where we can work. Music, drama, producing historical documentaries, documenting each other's history, telling stories about our heroes. So there is so much.
But there has been this recent signing of Associated Press Pakistan with my own organization, China Media Group. And I want to confirm with you, Mr. Prime Minister, that you were once a contributor to an English language newspaper in Pakistan, right?
You've done your research well.
So how do you see the merits of such media and journalism cooperation between our two countries?
Well, this is an important one. As I was trying to explain, that we need a diversified approach for different cultural entities, for different mediums, be it in the digital space, be it in the electronic space, content creation, information domain.
You know, we're facing a very complex world that we're in right now. If you think about the Eurasian crisis, the escalation of conflict in the Middle East, what kind of a world order do you foresee happening?
The kind of a world order at the moment is, which is being translated by the Bretton Woods arrangement and the multilateral financial institutions, which are determining a certain kind of a political system around the globe. Those political systems are being treated as gospel, the representative of gospel truth, and they are turning into a dogmatic status, which probably is part of the problem. We need to be quite open about economic and political system around the earth, that it has to have some parochial and local shades and requirements. The political systems cannot be a ready-made suits. You have to have a tailor-made one. You have to have made to measure. And if you go on that model, I think so, more or less, the conflicts, be it the local level, regional level, or global level, could be addressed in more pragmatic manner.
Mr. Prime Minister, as a scholar, as a politician, as a legislator, and now as Prime Minister, what do you hope the world to learn, to know about Pakistan that you think so often is misunderstood?
We are a geographical place which has seen so much historical upheavals, and those upheaval has left its imprints on our psyche, it imprints on our thinking process, on our value system, on our identity of faith. It's such a diversified region where probably people for last 12 or 300 years has shaped a very unique identity. We have diversified religious groups, we have got Hindus, we have got Sikhs, we have got Christian, with a larger presence of Muslim population. And all this diversification has created an opportunity that Pakistan would project itself in a more inclusive manner. And that cultural and religious inclusivity would attract people around the globe from the region to know and explore more about Pakistan.
Thank you so much, His Excellency Prime Minister Kakar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I must say I was thoroughly impressed by the humility and scholarship of the Pakistani Prime Minister. He believes that a key difference between the Chinese proposal for global governance and previous paradigms is the focus on economic tools instead of the tool of force in effecting change. And he believes that the enduring goodwill between China and Pakistan lies in the collective psyche of ordinary Chinese and Pakistanis. Thank you for watching this episode of Leaders Talk. I'm Guan in Beijing. I'll see you again next time.